Hey, all right. I see us.
All right, cool.
Yep. Let me do this and make that big. Let me see if I can find a way to. Um, hmm. I want this to go side by side. View.
Yeah, I like that better than the stack.
Yeah. Let me see if I can find a way to do that. Gotta love working out the
Guess we should have
kinks.
figured that out, right?
Yeah. All right. Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna do that. We're gonna do that. All right. Cool.
All right, we're here.
I
We're in.
mean, yeah. You can see my. Hold on. How do I hide? Dock settings. Turn hiding on. There we go. Okay. And then I want to do. Give me that. There we go. All right. Now we look a little bit better. All right.
All right.
Here we are.
Welcome.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Boy Wonders podcast. We are here. We are in there like swimwear.
Yeah,
There's nobody else in here yet, but that's okay.
it's all right.
No, hey. For everybody who's going to watch this back, I am Trevor.
And I am Daniel.
And we are the Boy
And
Wonders.
we are the Boy Wonders, okay? And we're here to talk comics, okay?
Yes, we do this typically. So, housekeeping. Typically, we do this every Saturday or every other Saturday. We are doing every other Saturday. However, this topic that we have for you guys today is so very near and dear to our hearts that we decided we needed to do, we needed 2 nights. We needed 2 nights. So, we're going to try to shoot for like an hour and a half tops or so tonight, and then maybe an hour, hour and a half tomorrow night, just so that we can really get into this creator, this artist, and this book in particular that brought us together as friends.
Yeah, no, I mean, this is probably, I think we talked about it in the first episode. This is like one of the books that I was like, you have to read this.
Yes.
Like, it's not a suggestion, you need to read this now.
Yes, and I did, and I loved it.
Yeah, man.
Yes.
So you didn't want to give it away.
I didn't. I
Off the
didn't.
rip.
I didn't. I wanted to see. I wanted to see if people could guess. So I'm gonna list off
Right.
some facts of the Furious about the creator of this particular book, which has led us to making it just a topic about him, about the book. So we are gonna start with this creator is he's an American comic book creator, born in New Hampshire in 1980. He got his start working professionally before graduating from college with books such as Star Wars and Noble Causes, and then he went to do projects for Dark Horse. He has done work on Batman. He has done work on Hellblazer. He has done work with artists or creators like Grant Morrison. He's worked with Scott Snyder. He has worked with the legendary Rick Remender. And the book in particular that we are talking about is actually based on, or rather, created because of inspired by the fears and the the bleakness of the 2012 elections in particular. But it is truly inspired by the cultural zeitgeist around pop culture and religion and politics. So we are absolutely going to be violating all the terms of proper conversation, and we're going to be discussing politics and religion and money
All in one.
all in one.
All in one. We're just right off the rip.
Yep. We are just gonna, Oh, we have Dice to Removal. Welcome in. I just saw the
Yeah, dude,
comment there.
welcome.
All right. Hey, we have 5 views, 3 concurrent viewers. I think 2 of those viewers are us.
That's all right.
Yeah. Anyway, so if the title alone of the podcast wasn't enough, the book that we're going to be discussing is a title called Punk Rock Jesus, written by
The creator we've been talking about, Mr. Sean Gordon Murphy,
Yes. Just
the main man. He's one of my favorites, hands down.
Yep. I think the craziest thing to me about Sean Murphy is that he is first and foremost an artist, and you would never know that reading his work.
Right.
He has got such a very distinct style for his art, so you always know it's him that drew it. There's never a question. There's never a question about it at all. But not knowing that he's primarily an artist, you read Punk Rock Jesus, hell, you read Batman White Knight, and you're like, oh gosh, this guy has just been writing, his entire career, which isn't true.
Yeah, no, he was predominantly an artist.
Yeah,
the better part of his early career.
Right. So he has written Off Road for Oni Press. He wrote that back in 2005. That was his first attempt. That's not something I've read. I meant to add that to my required reading, but I got sucked into the Hellblazer book that he did with Scott Snyder, and no, City of Demons he did with Cy Spencer. Scott Snyder he did American Vampire Survival of the Fittest. But yep. So I got sucked into Hellblazer, and then I just started reading the White Knight books all over again, because that's kind of. So when I got back into comics back in 2019, I had bought Curse of the White Knight was ongoing. So I saw it was I saw it was Sean Murphy, so I'm like, oh shit, I got to get this, and I didn't realize it was a follow up to White Knight. So I started reading these books, and it's just like, man, this feels like the back half of a story I haven't read yet. And it was, yeah. It was. So I got that, but yeah, that and Last Night on Earth were the two ongoing series at the time, man. And holy hell, what a time for comics. But no,
the time that I really, really got back into it.
Yeah. Well, the DC, hardcore. Yeah, DC Black Label, man. It just.
Well, and it's DC Black Label is great and all, but I mean. Truth be told, Punk Rock Jesus was a Vertigo book.
Yeah.
Of them not, yeah. I think it was probably one of the last Vertigo books. You have to fact check me on that one, but it's definitely one of my favorites. Along with the Hellblazer series.
Brett, is he coming in better now?
I don't know. Let me check.
One day we'll have this figured out so that our audio plays
We were on here 30 minutes early, dude.
Yeah.
we were tweaking and all of that.
It sounds like it's the device
better,
picking
worse.
it up, not the mic. Justin says it sounds like it's the device picking it up, not the mic. It should. It is coming out of my computer speakers and through my microphone.
Yeah.
Okay, let me see. Let me make sure that this is... Alright, hold on. Let me see. Settings are where? Yep. HyperX Quadcast is... Yeah, that is...
Yeah.
Yeah, alright. Well, weird. Hold on, let me minimize us for a second. And this is... Let me make sure that...
Yeah, I don't know what's happening.
Neither do I. Device, HyperX Quadcast. Alright. Make sure that is set to that. Alright. Hopefully that's better.
Yeah. Sorry, second episode. We're just working things out.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, we're gonna get our lives together one of these days. Maybe not. Who cares? Just want everybody to know that I brought my biggest fan with me today. So.
Here we go.
Yep.
Here we go.
Here he is.
He's vacuuming or something.
Yeah, I know. That is a thing I need to do for sure. But no, so back to the matter at hand. So when I first met Daniel, before we started hanging out in the bar, I met him at Big Easy Comics, and that is kind of how our friendship started. And at some point, it blossomed into a genuine friendship, and then fast forward a year or two later, and we're actually, hanging out at the bar more often, and Big Easy moves to Covington, and he's still there, and he's talking to me, and he's like, dude, have you read this book that came out a few years ago called Punk Rock Jesus? And I said, no, but that sounds incredible. And he all but grabbed me by the shirt and pulled me in close and said, dude, you need to read this now. And just like literally proceeded to buy me the trade paperback off the shelf that they had. And I went home, and I don't think I've ever devoured a story as quickly as I have that one. So just some fun facts about me that are both relevant and irrelevant. I am Christian. I do have a very firm faith now, but for a while I was really agnostic. I was really unsure about everything, and like something about the book really spoke to me. It really spoke to my feelings at the time on organized religion, on the way that, not even organized religion, but just the way that people within organized religions behaved. And so to have this incredible story that just really, I mean, it not only defends Christianity, but it also opposes the radical Christianity, and it's written by somebody who is atheist. It's,
Yeah.
you know, it is like it's incredible. Like especially reading it from the lens that I have now, it's very easy to see. Like, yeah, so no, it's definitely like Thomas is very much a firm believer, and it justifies his beliefs. And then at the same time, you've got you've got Daisy Milton and the NCR, and they're just like, they are everything I imagine some of the most insane, radical, conservative Baptists ever. Like, it's just
Well, they're like that weird hybrid of like, like super ultra, like super, like mega church people, right?
right.
But then they just kind of cram that Westboro Baptist Church, like gross, like just
Oh yeah.
makes you feel icky. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like, for lack of a better term.
Right. Yeah.
but
No,
just-
it does. It really does.
It's disgusting. It's disgusting, and it's like one of the best scenes. All right, but before we really jump into all that stuff, if anything, you were kind of naming off characters and stuff like that. Let's kind of jump into what the story is and kind of
Sure.
like paint the picture for people. That way, we're not throwing names out there and they're
Yeah.
gonna be like, "Who are these guys talking about?"
All right.
When
So
they log off the chat.
yeah. Fair enough.
All right. So cool. Punk Rock Jesus came out like 2012 to 2013. It's a 6-issue series from DC Comics through their Vertigo line, which is their adult line of comics, it's aimed more towards an adult audience with more adult themes and so on and so forth, right? Written and illustrated by Sean Gordon Murphy, if you want to go full proper with it. The story's set in 2019, okay, which is crazy because, I mean, the way of the world now, I mean, it's almost like a kind of telling the future.
Yeah.
So, in a sense. But basically, there's this big corporation that they get a hold of the Shroud of Turin, I believe.
Yes.
Turin?
Yep. Shroud of
Right.
Turin.
The Shroud of Turin, right?
Which,
And-
if you don't know, the Shroud of Turin was the cloth that was laid upon Christ's body when he was buried.
Right.
Um,
And then there's a geneticist that they hire, and basically they have, at this point in their future, right, at their 2019, they have perfected cloning to like a extreme degree where it's like almost it's flawless, right? So she takes the DNA from the Shroud of Turin, and they decide they're gonna clone Jesus Christ. Okay, all the way down to getting a Virgin Mary and doing in vitro fertilization and all that stuff to make it the second coming of Christ. And that's basically setting the scene there.
but why are they
Of where
doing
the
it,
story
Daniel?
starts.
But what are they doing it for?
A reality TV show.
Gosh, that is the most corporate American premise ever, and it's
No, and the best part of it is they call it J2, and it's
Yeah.
like it feels like it's ripped like right out of Righteous Gemstones. Have you watched that at all?
I have not. It's
Where
definitely
it's this
on my
very
watch
over
list.
the top, big box, like evangelical, like
Right.
church people.
I mean,
you
it's
know?
got John Goodman in it. John Goodman's just an absolute legend. So
It's phenomenal.
yeah.
I just finished the third season.
Nice.
I can't recommend it highly enough. It's very crass, very vulgar. So if that kind of stuff offends you, probably stay away.
Yeah. So that's to put the kids to bed and then take a look.
Very much so. Very much so. So, like I said, they're going to clone Jesus for a reality show about the second coming, right? Through science.
Science, baby.
And so our cast of characters are, we meet them as they go on. The story basically starts off in this small Irish town, and it's in the heat of the IRA and the Rucks fighting,
Yes.
And we meet one of our main characters, if not my opinion.
I was gonna say, I think
the main character.
Yeah, I think it's easy to say that he is.
Very much so. Yeah, Thomas McKeel. Man,
Dude.
like one of the coolest, most badass protagonists in a story that has such a tortured background, but you'd love him, and he's just an asshole.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
God, he's basically he's like the Punisher if he was cooler.
Yes.
Because the Punisher is cool because he does cool shit.
Right.
But Thomas is cool because he's done all this heinous, awful shit in his life, and now he's trying to atone for it. So he's
like the Punisher, but righteous.
Essentially, yeah. I mean, he's hardcore Catholic, obviously, and basically he is hired by Rick Slate, which is the producer of this J2.
What a great sleazebag! What a great sleazebag corporate name.
God,
Rick
he's the worst,
Slade.
dude.
Rick Slade
is
the
worst. They made him have the most punchable face.
Oh my
John
gosh,
Murphy
yeah,
killed it
dude,
with
absolutely.
that, dude.
Absolutely.
Oh, but yeah, so he's hired as the head of security for J2 because they know that he's basically like an Irish Navy SEAL, right?
Yeah.
At this point. And then the geneticist that is in charge of making the baby Jesus, Dr. Sarah Epstein, amazing character. I love her.
Dude,
I think she's phenomenal.
She's probably my second favorite character.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it's cool because her and Thomas's dynamic are just they butt heads.
Oh, absolutely.
At all costs. The first couple issues, it's just nope. There.
Yeah.
When she finds out he's ex-IRA,
oh my gosh,
no,
yeah,
dude.
dude, she freaks
either
out.
You leave or I'm gonna leave. Yeah.
But then Slade tells her, "You can't leave. I've got your research." Real quick, Hard Reset Toys and Games. What up, homie? Watching from work. What up?
Hey, what's up, man? Yeah, dude. No, I'm so bad with names. It's James. James. Yes, it's James. We met at the Menzinger show the other night.
Oh, cool. Awesome.
He does a channel that he just reviews Ninja Turtle toys, Power Rangers,
cool.
all sorts of stuff like that. Yeah. He showed me a couple of his videos. He was a super cool guy. We actually kind of talked about doing a collab or being on his show or something like that. We were kind of just bullshitting, nothing super concrete, but yeah, nice. Super cool dude. Hard Reset Toys and Games. Go check him out.
Let's see. I'm trying to. I'm in the wrong setting as this. It's fine. I can't drop a link. But Hard Reset Toys and Games on YouTube. Go check them out.
Yep. All right. So where were we? Sorry, I had to take a big sip.
Yep. We met Sarah.
Yep, we met Sarah. Okay, the geneticist behind the whole thing, and she's very much not a religious person.
Nope,
not even a little bit.
Nope, she's all about science.
All about science, and the only reason she's doing this is because she has figured out a way to basically clean the atmosphere with algae, right? Kind of help with global warming and all that stuff. Very cool, very cutting edge technology, but she needs funding and no one will fund it. So basically she's like, I'm going to use my geneticist intellect and knowledge and know-how, and I'm going to do this stupid reality show and get paid so I can do my research while doing this as well. Fun fact, she also creates a genetically altered polar bear that's like a giant golden retriever. His name's Cola, and he's one of the most joyful characters I think I've ever seen in a comic book. Like whenever he's interacting with the
the
Chris
kids,
and everybody,
yeah, dude, it's amazing,
so adorable.
Yeah.
Ugh.
All
right.
Yeah.
You want to take it? You want to take it from here?
Sure. Okay. So, also in that cast of colorful characters, we have on the invert. Oh, forgot about Tim. So we have the tech character. He's in charge of like all the technical aspects of it. Hacker, programmer, etc. His name's Tim. He kind of acts as like Thomas's conscience in a way. I feel like he and Thomas paired together. They're one of my favorite dynamics because of the fact that
hilarious,
dude. It's amazing because he's just like he just refuses to accept Thomas's brash nature. He's like, look, if we're gonna fucking work together, then you need to at least like stop being an asshole by 30%. Like dial it down. You're at an 11.
No, and he says it perfectly in the book. He's like, you can be a dick to everybody else. He's like, but me and you, we're gonna get along just fine because we're down here in the dungeon, basically.
Right, exactly.
Thomas is the head of security, and he's head of the
technical
servers
aspect
and the technical aspect of the entire operation, which is crazy.
Yeah,
they put one guy in charge of that, but it's a comic book. It's cool.
It's comic books. It's in the futuristic, the many years down the road year of 2019.
Yeah, the far
future of 2019. But no, so he's one of my favorite characters. The dynamics between Thomas and everybody is pretty incredible. Especially the heart of the story. And that is not Chris, although Chris does play the heart, but it's his mother. And oh my gosh, I just had a brain fart.
Gwen Fairley.
Gwen, thank you. Oh my gosh, I kept on wanting to say Dawn.
Right.
I've devoured so many comics this week because of this particular episode. But yes, no. So he and Gwen, they are the closest thing to a romance that happens in this book is between the two of them, and it's not even like it's not physical in any way, but there is just Thomas cares so much about protecting her and saving her that he does love her and she loves him, and and it's there, and it's heartbreaking and it's sad because here's this 18-year-old girl who is essentially kidnapped and imprisoned on an island so that she can get the money to pay her parents' debts and give birth to the baby Jesus. And it's just, the story is so wild. And of course, aside from Rick Slade, who is obviously a bad guy, but he's not the villain. The villain is Daisy Milton. Daisy Milton, ladies and gentlemen, is when you hear...
She's the leader of the NAC,
the NAC, yeah. The North American...
The New American Christians,
yeah.
Which is basically, they're just the fictional Westboro Baptist Church.
Yep. So
worst.
If you've ever seen the movie Red State, she is them. Like those, she's absolutely supposed to be... I have purged the guy's name from my brain because I don't ever need to give him any more lip service, but the former leader of the Westboro Baptist Church, who has long since died, who, they're the people that will go to Free Speech Alley at Southeastern and hold the signs that say God hates fags and, all those horrible things. So they are just so against the notion, like they think it's bastardization. They're, corrupting Christianity by cloning Christ, and they're constantly attacking the compound because the whole thing takes place on an island. So yes, Dennis, it was a great death. But Dennis Brayland, what's up, buddy? How you doing?
Yeah, hey man, welcome.
Welcome in, brother. So the whole thing takes place on an island because the governments around the world have basically decided they do not want cloning, especially in America. So it has to take place in international waters. So they build
Yep,
this.
the loophole.
Yep, the loophole of international waters. Anything can be done in international waters, I guess. But they build this island fortress where they do all the filming and everything, and they spend their whole time. Chris is born with one of my favorite twists that we know about from the get go, but the way that they twist it up at the end is my favorite. But so the geneticist, she creates twins, like she implants two children instead of one, because she didn't believe that it was gonna. What was her actual motivation for it? I think she was looking for leverage against Slade, like in case something happened. And so she creates twins. Slade finds out about it and decides, hey, I'm gonna. Oh, it also needs to be mentioned that she can't have children of her own.
Right. So, yeah, she has had multiple attempts and basically
she and her husband
lost the pregnancy and then ended up getting divorced.
Right. Yeah, her husband left her because she couldn't get pregnant.
Right.
But she follows Slade because he takes the baby. He says, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna give it to an orphanage. He does not.
No, it wasn't that. He didn't give it to an orphanage. I just reread it this today. That's the thing.
Okay. All right.
But no, he's like, I already have a foster family.
That's what it is. Yeah.
Because he's a multi-billionaire, so he can do whatever he wants, and he has all these people on lock, right?
Right.
No,
not at all, dude. He does the worst thing imaginable, presumably, and that's feed her tranquilizers and throw her into the river, and that's we see.
You see Sarah jump into the river and save the baby,
yeah. And then, what is it? Like, she comes back a month later, and all of a sudden, she's pregnant. Very pregnant.
She's got ultrasound pictures and all this stuff.
Yeah.
That's actually one of my favorite parts in the whole freaking book.
Yeah.
Is when Sarah tells everybody that she's pregnant, and then Slade's like, oh, you're fired, and all this stuff. He's like, can't have a baby, and all these things.
Yeah.
And then Thomas, of all people, he's like, if you're gonna come and go with the kid, he's like, I get this tracking device for you. And she's like, no, it's okay. And then he hands it to her. He goes, I painted it pink.
Yeah.
Because you have a girl.
Yep.
And I was like,
that is the cutest thing ever. Dude, Thomas
and he's like this big, swole,
just lumbering figure,
IRA dude. Yeah. Just like the baddest of the bad.
The cemetery. What a badass!
Cemetery on his back, dude.
What a badass nickname, Thomas the Cemetery McHale. But no, so it's the first issue really doesn't do a damn thing to prepare you for anything that's going to happen next.
No,
and that is truly a testament to how good this book is. Because the whole first issue, I mean, it's just exposition. It's just giving you, like any first issue is going to be, it's just introducing you to this cast of characters that we have. You barely get introduced to Chris, which is what they call Jesus Christ. They just call him Chris. You also get introduced to, and I feel like in a lot of ways it's almost a nod to, it reminds me a lot of Dark Knight Returns, but you've got the newscaster that's, doing all the interviews and stuff. And it kind of reminds me of when you have the news broadcast in Dark Knight Returns and they're just like telling you about all the things that are happening, like giving you the exposition, but also interviewing the characters. And, it, for whatever reason, it sticks out to me. And I can't remember.
Yeah, and his name is Don Baker, and his show is called The Boiler Room.
The Boiler Room with Don Baker.
So good.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like a big amalgamation of like Larry King and like Tom Brokaw and all those cats. You know what I mean? They just like mashed them all into one as this head of this 24-hour news studio, right?
Right. And it's oh man. This book is so good. But yeah, we get through that first issue and you're introduced to the NAC, you're introduced to Gwen, you're introduced to everybody, and then, we're barely introduced to Chris. And then at the start of issue 2, I'm pulling this out in front of me. I need to have this right in front of me right now.
Dude, it's fun. It's a live show.
It is a live show.
Everybody's watching us.
Right? There's a few people watching, maybe. But, all right.
It's been so long since I've read this in single issues. I only have the deluxe hardcover now.
Nice.
So, I don't, it's not split into issues, so I can't tell you where the issues start.
Right. So that's what, oh man, my comicsology is wanting to be goofy.
Mm-hmm.
All right. This is New Boot Goofing.
It's all right.
Yep.
We'll be better.
Yeah, we will.
We promise.
Ironically enough, so the second issue starts in June of 2020, which let me just tell you, couldn't be more similar.
Ooh.
I think this is actually the first time that I've noticed that little box there.
Mm-hmm.
It also needs to be mentioned that the book is in all black and white,
Yes.
which is
amazing artwork by Sean Murphy. And I've seen his stuff in color, and I've seen it in black and white, and I think I prefer it in black and white. If I'm being 100%
yeah, I
honest.
think
It just
so
feels
too.
like a Western manga.
Right.
Really.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I like that all of the White Knight stuff is in color, but like this, I would never want this book in color. It's just
I mean, if
like
they did, I'd buy it.
oh,
Just
I
to
would
support, but
too.
I
But
mean,
I don't
but
want it, but I would absolutely own it.
yeah.
Like they're like don't get it twisted. Just like at some point they're gonna put all of the Walking Dead Deluxe in compendium form, and I'll own the entirety of the Walking Dead in color, even though I don't necessarily want it in color.
Yeah, I have no desire to own that in color. There's certain things that happen in The Walking Dead that I don't want to see in color.
Oh,
You know, and
yeah, like issue 100, issue 32.
yeah.
Let's see. Yeah, I don't need to see the escape from the prison. I
Yeah,
don't.
all the tail end of the prison stuff in that
Yeah,
is not something I want to see in full
yeah,
color.
that's
And
true.
I like scary movies, and I'm a big gore hound. I like
Yeah,
all the trauma films and like just stuff like that. But something about The Walking Dead just really, I
dude,
don't
it's
know, it gives you
intense.
that sense of reality,
Yeah,
like it's
it
like a good real world in this
right.
zombie
Well,
apocalypse.
it's
So,
that's we'll definitely end up doing a Kirkman episode, and we'll
oh
talk
yeah,
more about that
100%.
for sure.
I want to do like 3 episodes on the entirety of Invincible.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah, we could probably run an entire. We could definitely run like weekly for a month and a half on Kirkman and his works alone for sure.
Right.
But Invincible's amazing. Season 2, I've not watched it yet. I need to.
I don't think it's dropped yet.
I'm pretty sure. I thought it did. I
I don't
swear it
know.
did.
We're the worst.
We are, dude. I've got so much stuff that I'm trying to watch. Speaking of things that dropped, though, The Flash is finally on HBO Max, so I can finally watch. That's why I'm wearing my Flash T-shirt, because I'm gonna watch The Flash once my wife goes to sleep tonight.
It was fun.
Yeah, dude, I
It's
watched the
fun.
first
It's
15, 20
fun.
minutes. I'm gonna love it. It's gonna be fine. Like I don't care. I don't need the naysayers to tell me it sucks. It probably does, but you know what? I liked regular Justice League, and I love the Snyder Cut.
Yeah,
So
same. I mean, I was definitely. I don't want to say I was a Snyder bro, but I was definitely gonna die on that hill by myself, hoping for some more DCEU. But
yeah, yeah.
it's dead. It's over, and I can accept that. There's a
There's a lot of
whole
people who
gaggle of
cannot.
fans online that cannot
Nope,
accept
they
that,
refuse to
and
accept
it's
it.
real bad. It's
Yeah,
real bad. It's borderline sad.
it
Um,
is. I mean, DC has proven that they don't care because
they don't. Not even a little bit.
they destroy like they canned Batgirl. It was done. It was done. It was a done
I mean, they
movie.
didn't even release that.
Yeah. So anyway, back to Punk Rock Jesus. Oh, I
Sorry,
love
yeah,
talking
we
to
were
you. Yeah,
tangenting hard.
it's easy to do that.
Yeah. All right, let's home back
So yeah,
in.
so the first issue kind of wraps up just getting all of the exposition out of the way and letting you know essentially to the best of their ability, hey, this is what this story is about and baby Jesus is born. There's a twin. Oh lord. And you know, the second issue starts with Daisy Milton and the NAC basically
Rushing the
picketing. Yep,
compound.
they're picketing the compound, and then Thomas gets in a speedboat, just blows through them.
Yep, they're on like some weird like tower like paddle boat thing,
Yeah.
and he's just on this like Miami Vice speedboat,
Yep.
and he just runs right through it, just
Yep. And they just
sends them spilling everywhere.
I know it's amazing. So they start climbing up, and they pull them all in, and they have Daisy Milton tied to a chair, and that's when Slade basically explains to her like, "Hey, I love it when you come here because our ratings go through the roof whenever we have to fight against you idiots." Like,
Yeah. And they're like, yeah, well, Thomas's methods are a bit costly at times,
mhm.
but the ratings will make up for it in the end. Like, Rick Slate is literally the worst
Yeah.
human being on the planet.
100%. All
he
he
is
cares about is
garbage.
yep. All he cares about
And
is
he
the
only
ratings.
gives a shit about ratings and money.
Yep.
And it's, man, like you love to hate him, you know?
And it's easy to find all of the reality in all of this. Like, he is that scumbag politician that, you know, that scumbag politician or that scumbag movie producer. He's like, just, he is such a real person that it does, like, dude, it makes my skin crawl. Because I have
Yeah,
no
no,
trouble
he's
believing that he's out there.
No, and it's like I mean, think about was like the writer strike and the actor strike.
Oh,
I
for
mean,
sure.
guys like him are what they're striking against, you
Right.
know.
Exactly. It's, you know, all he cares about is the bottom line and dollar signs. He doesn't
Right.
care about the, you know, the health and the well-being of people around him, which we see as, you know, Gwen starts to get depressed from being 19 and trapped on an island and having just had a baby and not being able to live her life. So he starts feeding her antidepressants and booze.
Yep.
Oh, it's so heartbreaking, man.
It's the worst too, and it's like so you think about it, it's like this girl, she auditioned basically. They auditioned basically the Virgin Marys for this J2 reality show, right?
Right.
And 18 years old, she's like, all right, I'm from a, you know, a family that's not poor necessarily, but they're, you know, in debt, and they, you know, she wants to take care of them and all that. So she auditions and all that stuff. And then you find out later on that even even her just being, you know, who she is not enough for Rick Slate. He
Right.
ends up like pumping her full of, you know, silicone and
Right.
dyes and all that stuff, like just like changing who she is as a person. So not only is she depressed from the fact that she's not who she wants to be and who she is, but she's had this child that's not her. Oh, I mean, it's hers, but it's not, you know what I mean?
Right.
She's had this child and she's not even allowed to raise the child. So
Right.
basically you find out later in the book or throughout the coming issues that they are basically teaching him all the things from the Bible and not science and
Yep, not history.
anything else.
Yep.
Yeah,
It's
not
just
history,
it is
nothing.
just biblical history.
It's just he's basically in Sunday school for the first like
Yeah.
10 years of his life.
Oh man. And let me tell you, having I have a lot of friends. I know a lot of people who were raised Catholic or raised Baptist, raised Christian, and have come to resent it and fallen so far away from it. It's people like, you know, myself, like my wife. She grew up going to church and stuff, but you know, came into her faith on her own as an adult and is stronger for it. And I'm the same way. Like, I grew up in a house where we didn't go to church at all. It was actually kind of just not, it was not something we did whatsoever. And I feel like I'm grateful for that because it helps me, like, it allows me to just have my own faith and have my own thoughts and ideas about it. But I know, like, it's easy to see how and why before, like, without any of the other nonsense that happens, how and why the resurrected Jesus Christ decides he doesn't want to be Christian. Because
Well,
that's
I mean,
all.
spoiler alert,
Yeah.
but you know.
Yeah. Well, look. I mean, this is a spoiler cast, okay?
Oh no, I'm not saying that. It's. I mean,
I know we're getting
the book's
ahead of ourselves.
also-
I know I'm getting ahead of
The book's
ourselves.
11 years old. That's what I was saying.
Yeah. I know I'm getting
But,
ahead of
yeah.
myself a bit. It's just it's so
I'm
like.
just real excited. That's okay.
Yeah, I am. I'm giddy, man. I've been thinking
Calm
about
down, little
this all
fella.
week.
We got this.
All right. All right.
Keep it on the rails, please.
All right. So as we move. All right. Listen here, man. I will go off the rails however I damn well please.
Well, that's why we're friends.
Exactly. So as we, you know, we get through that opening shot of Thomas just running his boat through the NAC, and then we see our first miracle, and it is
Oh,
like
my God.
they are just milking that notion. Like, he's just sitting there playing with lettered blocks, and
Yep.
they decide they're gonna spell out the word Genesis with them, and then turn the cameras back on, and it's a miracle. He can spell at 8 months old.
Yeah. Oh, the miracles as the book goes on get more and more ridiculous.
Boy, do they. Oh, jeez. The juice incident, that one was interesting.
The juice one's heartbreaking.
It
'Cause
is,
You know
it
that
is.
that was not even
that wasn't
planned.
even...
That was
nope.
just a disgusting happy accident for
Yep.
Rick Slade.
It was, and so Oh, the one of my favorite little just tidbits. So in the boiler room with Don Baker, you've got a an atheist scientist who is pretty much always debating with this like hardcore pastor, and
Yes.
I love their dynamic and the way that they go back and forth because
So good.
he's just so burly and like stoic, and he's got the small glasses and the big beard. And so I just like he's always sitting back and he's just like tell me more. I feel like he's Russian. I feel like he's probably a Russian. He just looks like he would be. Um,
Yeah.
and then, but one of my favorite statistics that they drop is that while controversy about the clone continues, we can report with certainty that J2 is the biggest show in history. Over 3 billion people tune in daily. That's the equivalent of 27 Super Bowls worth of viewers.
But it's just funny because it's just like it's a perfect mirror to the society we live in now. You
Right.
know, people are so obsessed with like reality shows, and then not only just like reality shows, but just like, I mean, I'm guilty of it too.
Oh,
Just
sure.
watching real world, like, you know, people filming with their phones. I
Yeah.
mean, it's the
Oh
same
my
thing.
gosh,
It's
yeah.
like, I don't know.
So it's funny. I, as a rule, I don't like reality shows unless it's like
Mm-mm.
a Hell's Kitchen. Like I like Hell's Kitchen. My wife and I love Hell's Kitchen. We actually
Yeah.
for our anniversary we went, or not our anniversary, our honeymoon, which is also technically after well, it's anyway. So for our honeymoon, World Star tennis. Um, but no, for our honeymoon we went to Atlantic City specifically so that we could eat at Hell's Kitchen that just opened up there. It's phenomenal food.
Nice.
But no,
Oh,
so
I'm sure it is.
yeah,
Yeah.
dude, it's amazing. But that being said, my wife's she's big into like the Housewives and stuff, which I can't get behind. But there's a spin-off show called Vanderpump Rules, and I don't know how it happened. I don't know when it happened, but like I would walk through the living room and she'd be watching it, and it's just like, and it's just the Vanderpump Rules show. It's not the Housewives, but it's dude. I would just like I get fascinated by the things that were happening on screen in front of me, and
Can't
there
do it. I can't do
oh,
it.
dude, I don't know what it is about it, but like it got me. I'm not super hooked. That being said, like if it is on, I will sit down and watch it, and I will start talking. Like I will start talking to the characters. Like, why are you doing this, Tom? Come on, Sandoval, you're better than that. No, you're not. You're a real piece of shit. But so I get.
You know the characters, dude. That's a
Dude,
problem.
it's no look. They're the problem is that these are real people behaving this way. That's the problem.
I guess. I don't know, man. I
But
just.
oh man, no, but no, it's like the cultural zeitgeist of reality television and just wanting to leave your own reality to live in this one that has been created for you because it's not real. It's not actually real, but
No, yeah, it's all scripted, yeah.
but it's real enough that you see it as it is. It's just like whenever we read comic books or read video games, except rather than, you know, getting out of the reality of your world, you want a fantasy world that looks like yours.
Yeah.
So I understand that to a certain degree. I do get that want and that desire to have this bird's eye view into other people's lives, but it's uncomfortable and it's voyeuristic. And I think that Punk Rock Jesus does such a good job of absolutely just decimating the image of the obsession with oh my light's falling the obsession with reality TV.
Right. Well, and it does a really good job of just completely like obliterating the curtain and just
Mm-hmm.
showing you how like disgusting these people actually are.
Right.
You know,
Yeah, and it's
but like the people behind it all, not
right. Yeah.
necessarily Glenn and
No, of
Chris
course
and all
not.
them, but like it's just like all the links they'll go to get all the views and all that stuff. I
Right.
mean,
Yeah.
like think about the NAC, just the
Right.
fact that they allow them to just be awful people and
Right.
cause bodily harm and
Yeah.
all that stuff just for views. It's just, I don't know, it's
Right.
disgusting to me.
Yeah. Because it brings up the rankings. Hey, honey. Wife just came in.
Yep.
But Daniel says, "Hey." Oh, she can hear you because my speaker's on.
Yeah.
And now she's putting in her AirPods. But no, it is. It's and honestly, it in a lot of ways when I think about it, when I read this and I think about, all of these reality shows, save for a few where like I think the people are just genuinely awful people, it really makes you wonder what, like, if there is some kind of truth to that for us, like, if these characters. Trick for him. A pen. Here. 2 seconds.
Dead air.
See, told you. 2 seconds.
Yep.
Yeah. But no, it does make you kind of wonder if that's actually what's happening happening behind the scenes. Really makes you wonder. Mm-hmm. All right, so I was rewatching Letterkenny recently, and I was just thinking about the episode where Squirrely Dan tries stand-up comedy. Kind of makes a guy think, doesn't it? So you start to really get the glimpses and the idea that Gwen's not okay. There's a scene or a moment where she is sitting and she's looking at like a hologram image of her parents' home, of her childhood home, and it's like it is this nice, cute little place.
It's like a little like cottage.
It does, yeah.
House, yeah.
Yeah, so she's sitting there with Sarah and Cola and Chris, and they're looking at this thing, and she says, this is kind of. Sarah's asking her, is this your home? She's like, well, this is the way I want to remember it. Right. Basically saying like she knows that it doesn't look this way anymore, and she assumes that it's not that way anymore. And you really get the idea, like, okay, so not only is she 19 at this point, give or take, she's a prisoner on this island, but she's also homesick. Like, she misses her parents, right. Even though...
Yeah, she left home, and she left home to take care of, basically, her family.
Right.
Which is, like, the most heartbreaking part of it all.
Yeah.
And it's also, that's the same issue where, it's basically like Parents' Day. Like, they invited her parents to come to the island, basically. And she's like, yeah, they'll show up. They'll show up eventually. They'll show up eventually. And then they eventually don't show up. Right.
And that's, okay, so another thing, we kind of, we were talking about it briefly at the intro, but so the opening scene is the IRA stuff happening, and it's Thomas as a kid. And
like he's probably like what, 4 or 5?
Oh, I mean, I'd say closer to like 7 or 8, maybe, or 6, maybe 6 or 7. I mean,
man, he's real small.
He is real small. He is a little dude, but maybe it's just to show that he grows into a real big dude. It's just like one of those, like, super gross. But anyway, he's real young. Child. Yeah, he's real young, and his father's sitting there, and he's like, Thomas, you've got to get into the closet. Take the shotgun. There's 2 shots in it. That's my best attempt at an Irish accent.
Please don't do anymore.
Oh,
no one wants it.
Are you sure? All right, let me try one more. You can do it there, boyo.
No.
All right. I'll give it up. I'll give it up. Fair enough. Anyway, so so you know that you get the impression, you get the understanding that his dad's ex-IRA or a member of the IRA, and there's noises and stuff coming from outside. And his dad's like, get in the closet. You got to take the shotgun. Do what we say. Don't open the door unless I tell you it's.
Unless I call out to you.
Yeah, unless it's me or your mom calling out to you, don't open the door. And you hear a lot of gunfire and stuff, and then you hear banging on the door, and you just see, Thomas pull the triggers, and both shots go out, and you open the door, and it's his dad, and he's laying on the floor, and that is just crushing. And his uncle, his dad's brother, comes in, and he's just like, oh, you didn't, should have been more careful, blah, 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 but, I'll take care of you.
He's yelling at him, and I'm like, this kid just shot his dad. What are you doing?
Yeah, so he's just like, you should have been more careful. How could you be so, careless? And he's like, you're coming with me, and he, says, I'll teach him the way his brother, and he executes, or rather, puts his brother out of his misery.
Right.
He's sitting there bleeding out. Yeah, in front of Thomas. So... after we get the moment when they're sitting poolside watching the image of her house, you're starting to get more of Thomas's backstory, which is that he was essentially taken in by his uncle, who's an active member of the IRA, and is teaching him how to be a soldier. even at a young age,
Right.
because again, like you said, he probably is like 5 or 6 when this
Yeah.
starts.
He's super young,
He's real tiny.
and it just shows like why Thomas is the way he is.
Correct.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because like you think about, this kid was born into this violent, very like rage fueled environment.
Right.
And it's truly heartbreaking, because he's like he's just a kid, man.
Yeah,
He's just a
yeah.
kid, and he's basically thrust into his father's war.
Right. And
You know?
it's, dude, it is such a, I mean, it's almost cliche, but because there's reality behind it, it doesn't feel cliche. Like, it doesn't feel like, Dick Grayson becoming Nightwing because he's tired of fighting Batman's war. It doesn't feel like that whole walking in the footsteps, like, because it's not like your typical comic book archetypes. Like, this really happened. Like, that was real stuff that occurred in Ireland.
Right.
They did not want England's involvement in their affairs, and the IRA was very violent. I have a friend. So with the Pokemon community, I've made friends all over the world, and there's a streamer from Ireland that I've gotten kind of to be buddies with. And I asked him one day, I was like, "Hey, is it like, do you guys find the drink Irish car bombs offensive?" And he's like, "No, not really. Like, it's I know people who do,
Right.
but yeah, no." So because
mean,
I thought
I've
about that,
heard
I was
it,
like,
but
yeah.
I don't know.
I was curious. I'd never actually gotten to speak to somebody who is like actively like in Ireland, from Ireland and living there. So,
Yeah.
but no. So we get a little more exposition and a little more of Thomas's backstory, and then we get him carrying Gwen to bed.
Yeah.
And this is probably one of the first times you get a true understanding of Thomas's humanity, because he's carrying her to bed, cradle in his arms, and he finds a vodka bottle, and
Like under her pillow,
yeah,
too.
like yeah, dude. And so it's, postpartum depression, isolation, all these things, man. And it's like, it's so tragic in every way, shape, or form that this poor girl is like just stuck. But that's also when we get that's when we find out that Sarah is pregnant. Ta-da, ta-da.
Yeah.
Yep.
But the best moment is whenever Thomas goes to Slate, dude, and he's like, yeah, I found this under Gwen's pillow. He's like, we're not supposed to have booze on this island. Like, alcohol is not allowed. He's like, that I vet everything that comes in and out.
Right.
And then Slate, matter of factly, just very like off the cuff, he's like, where do you think she got it from?
Right, exactly. Dude, it's just
know?
like, dude, you are such a piece of shit.
He's
Holy
literally the
crap.
worst fucking human being on the
Yeah,
planet.
man.
Hate
And
him.
oh
Hate
my
him.
gosh, he just does everything in
not
his
real.
power. Huh?
And he's not real. And like that's the thing. Like that is what makes this
Yeah.
book so special to me, because
Yeah.
like you feel all these emotions towards all these
Right,
characters.
dude, and it does, because there is this layer of reality to it. Like, that's the beauty of it, because it could it happen, not this soon, but like, could it be a reality? Absolutely, man, absolutely. Like, it is so grounded in possibility that it evokes all the emotions, because you are looking at these characters like real human beings. Like, this is not just the same emotional impact you get from characters in The Walking Dead because they're human in a zombie apocalypse. Like, this,
Right.
you do get that that degree of separation, or that suspension of disbelief, because that is this fantastical world to a certain extent. Although the philosophical arguments about what The Walking Dead is really about aside, it's a zombie apocalypse world, so you can kind of take away that notion. But this is just real. These are people. Just people.
They're just people
Yeah.
being people. Man.
Yeah, dude.
You know?
People, and in the worst people-y ways they people and could.
Well, because this book could have easily gone, is science going too far, blah, 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 right?
Right.
And they touch on that, right, with the cloning and all that, but then they dive real deep, and it's basically just it's a coming of age story.
Right.
and it takes place over multiple decades, really, because if you think it's Thomas coming of age,
Right.
it's Gwen coming of age,
Right.
it's Chris coming of age, like
Yeah.
our main protagonist, it's his story with all these other, secondary characters that are, to me, bigger than he is.
Right. Absolutely. Like we don't actually get to meet Chris as a person until like the 3rd or 4th issue.
Right, and
Like,
this is only a 6-issue series.
Yeah, exactly.
Keep in mind, it's only 6 issues, and granted, it's Vertigo, so they're double size. So
sure,
I guess you could say it's like 8 or 9 issues if you want to go.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's what each book is like.
Not trying to get technical
pages.
here, but what I'm saying is,
Yeah, I mean,
it's not a long series, and the fact that it's only 6 issues, and then it takes you on this roller coaster of emotions.
Right. Which happens pretty soon after. So Epstein reveals she is pregnant and everything, and then we get the cute moment with Thomas, and he's got the tracking device that he painted pink, or had it made pink for her because she's having a girl. And then we have what is our second miracle. And holy shit. Nothing can prepare you for the gut punch. So he's fussing by the pool. Chris is fussing by the pool, and Gwen goes and grabs him a bottle, or fills the bottle and gives it to him, and he drinks it.
No, it's Tim. Remember, she's like,
Tim.
Fridge,
yeah. Tim goes and gets a bottle and gives it to him, and he spits it out, and he's freaking out, and Thomas smells it, and it's wine.
Yeah.
So she was hiding wine in bottles. She was just that bad off, that depressed, and that's how she was drinking. And so they then spin it because it all happened on camera. So then Slade comes in and seizes the opportunity to say, hey, he turned his juice into wine. It's a miracle.
Yep, and there's miracle number 2.
Yep, and it's so, like, you can't
It's
help.
just sleazy, dude.
It is,
it's just
man.
sleazy.
It's
and then,
so
like,
gross.
the whole time in the background, she just feels like she's the worst mother ever. She just says it constantly. She's like, I'm the worst mother ever,
Oh my gosh, it's her, it's her mantra. It's her mantra from almost from the get-go. She's like, how am I going to be able to do this? Like, I don't know anything about it. And just having her feel that way, or just experiencing her feeling that way, is so heartbreaking and so, like, crushing. I think that's the moment when you realize, like, beyond the shadow of any reasonable doubt whatsoever, that Slade is a bad, bad man, and things are really, like, they're taking a very dark turn, like, a very dark turn at this point. And that's still, like, that's
issue 2.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
And we get to have this moment where Gwen steals Slade's car and tries to drive out of the compound, ends up smashing into the gate, destroying totaling the car out. But I mean, the gate's reinforced steel. Like, there's no way. Like, Thomas, the head of security, does not pinch pennies when it comes to security. So she destroys the gate, and I'm pretty sure after that is when Thomas agrees to sneak her out to see her parents.
Well, basically, she gives an ultimatum. She's like, either you take me out now, or I'm going to kill myself right now, right now, and you can't stop me.
Right.
And then basically kind of looks at her, looks at Slade, looks at Tim, and he goes, all right. And then he throws her on the back of the motorcycle. Yep. And Tim, because he's in charge of all the security and, like, or not security, he's in charge of all the technical aspects of security. He basically kind of gives them the all doors open, and then they escape, you know? And then it's like this really cute, like, sweet, like, poignant moment.
Oh my gosh! Yes.
He drives her home, and then, like, the little cottage that we saw that was CGI that she had made for her, basically, in the compound. You go to it, and it's actually this, like, rundown, just, like, all the windows are busted out, the roof's caved in, the yard's overgrown. It's a really sad sight, and it just shows that it had been foreclosed on because of defaulted payments and things of that nature. So it's almost like, did she get paid from the J2 thing, or
did they take the money and run?
Yeah. I mean, that's the only thing I could think of, because they don't really clarify what actually happened with her parents. But they have that weird little panel where it's just it has a foreclosure sign, then
Right.
there's another piece of paper that you can only read like half of it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it is such a it's such a heartbreaking moment, and again, like it cannot be understated. This is the second book that Sean Murphy ever wrote.
yeah,
Like, this is like his second time writing a comic. He spent, I mean, he had been working in the industry for almost 10 years at that point, but it was all from an artistic standpoint, save for his debut Oni Books graphic novel.
right.
This is, and it just, to think that, I mean, so so what is it? Off Road, I believe, is what his first book is called. Um,
Yeah,
like to consider that I mean I will say yeah Off Road, so that is like his first book, but I kind of consider this his first book, and I feel like he like it was his first, like this was his like him saying to people like, hey, I can write, I can
I can do both.
really
Yeah,
write. Yes, like not only can I draw incredibly well, but I can write a story that will take you through every range of emotions. Like I get angry when I read it, I get sad, I get happy, like I feel joy.
yeah.
Um, it just makes me kind of want to mosh at a couple of points. Like it makes me want to get into a circle pit and just throw elbows.
It's the
It's
last half.
yeah,
Really,
it
but
is. Yeah, it is, dude. Yeah, it is. Also, one thing that I don't know how I missed it in any of the previous readings of it, but Epstein is almost persistently wearing a Dead Kennedy shirt
hmm
under her lab coat.
Yep.
I don't know how I've not noticed that until now, but this is I think Punk Rock Jesus is to Sean Murphy like Die Hard was to Alan Rickman. Like he came out of the gates just fucking running.
Yep.
Um,
That's actually a really good one. I wouldn't usually put movies and comics in the same
no,
realm. You
yeah,
know what I mean?
but
But
no,
yeah,
like
no, that's actually pretty solid.
like Alan Rickman's first film role. Like he had done TV and stuff, but
He's
his
on TV
first
and
yep
theater.
yep,
Yeah.
but his first film was Die Hard, and he played one of the greatest movie villains of all time.
Yep.
Sean Murphy had done some light TV work, so to speak, but then decided, for his big, his first book for DC Comics, essentially, 'cause it's Vertigo, which is DC offshoot.
Right.
I know that in the issues that I have, there's an advertisement for Arrow at the top of one, so they weren't as separate at that point as they had been previously.
Yeah, I think this was like towards the tail end of
Right.
it, if I'm
Yeah.
not
I think
mistaken.
you're
I want
probably
to say that
correct.
it was because Vertigo went away and then DC went without a mature line for a very long time.
Yes.
Just like Marvel doesn't do Max anymore.
Right.
you
Oh,
know?
dude, man, the Marvel Max comics
same
were
stuff, yeah.
ridiculous. I had so there was a couple. I know you don't love old Deadpool, but there was a couple of Deadpool books that were from the Max line that were really good.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. So it's we get this, kind of going back into it. We get that moment where they're at the house, and you really feel for Gwen, and she understands now that like she is ostensibly alone,
Yeah.
except for Chris and this found family she has with the members of
With
the
Thomas
team,
and
yeah,
Sarah
Thomas and
and all
Sarah
them, yeah.
and Tim, but her parents are gone, God knows where, and she knows she's probably never going to see them again.
Right.
And then we get the sweetest moment in the entire book, and that is
Talking about the M&M and banana pancakes.
M&M and banana pancakes, man.
Yeah.
And
They're at this diner
yeah.
and
Take it
they're
away.
basically just having this moment. There's no one in the diner, it's just them two. And he's like never heard of M&M and banana pancakes
Yep.
before, and she goes, I just invented them.
Yep.
And he's like, they look colorful.
Yep.
I don't know. It's really sweet just because I would never imagine Thomas even like talking or commenting on those kinds of things because he
Right.
doesn't talk to anybody.
No, he
hates
doesn't.
everyone.
He does. He does. But you know that he genuinely, and this is really like, this is where you truly understand. Like, he does care about this woman. He does care
Yeah.
about these people. But we don't know why yet. And the reason why, I can't wait for us to get further into this. I mean, that'll probably end up taking, we'll get to that point in the book probably tomorrow night. But
Yeah.
when we find out like what it is that actually has caused him to
drives him.
yeah, dude, it's one of my favorite. There are two moments in the book that you're not sure if they're real or not, and man, but no, they're in that moment is so touching, but then it's also so heartbreaking because when she's like, I just invented them, my parents never would have let me eat them, and they're gone now, so I can do
Yeah.
whatever I want, and it's like, dude, that is just one of the most painful things to think about is like all like your parents are just gone and they're never coming back, and it's not even like necessarily that they're dead, like they just left, they
Yeah.
disappeared, they took the money
And didn't
that
tell you.
yeah, yeah, they took the money that you gave them so that they could fix up their home, and they just disappeared. Killer, killer.
Absolutely heartbreaking, dude.
Yeah, it is.
It sucks.
Yeah. Oh man, and then we find, and then people happen, man.
Yeah, that wonderful, peaceful moment in the diner is immediately ruined by a passerby saying, "Oh my God, it's them!"
Yep.
And then a mob of people, and it's weird though because sometimes he draws people and they look very old, but this looks like it's almost like a mob of like teenagers,
Yeah.
like
Oh, yeah.
preteens and whatnot, and they're like pulling on her hair and like they're like swarming. There's like hundreds of people in this little tiny shotgun diner.
Right.
It's like one of the like hole in the wall,
Yeah.
and they just basically pour in through the front door, and they're like kind of pinned out, and basically Thomas just goes full Rambo. He like pulls out his piece and he like runs through the kitchen, kicks like shoots off the deadbolt on the back door, kicks the door out, and then lo and behold, there's his motorcycle that him and Tim built,
Right.
which is super sick.
Yep. Yes.
And then they go tearing through the night, and they come back to J2 while being chased by the NAC.
Yes. Oh man, it is. And that pretty much wraps up, I think, issue 2.
Mhm.
And
I mean, there's some cool stuff that him and Tim do with the security gate, and basically they spray all the NAC dudes with a water hose.
That's
and
actually
then
at the
they
beginning.
Slide the motorcycle.
Yeah, that's the beginning of issue 3.
Oh, really? Okay,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Like I said, I'm.
Oh yeah,
I'm
you're
going off
reading.
of
Yeah, you're reading the deluxe
trade.
edition. Yeah. Yeah, so that's how issue.
I want to say Bruce still has all my single issues because I let him borrow it.
Nice.
Yeah.
And then so yeah, that the ending of issue 2 is them running, and you see the NXT behind them, and then issue 3 kicks off with them making it back safely to the island, and then you find out that there are no more, like, Slade is not, he's not even coming close to just hiding it anymore. Gwen is now a prisoner.
Yeah, he is property of J2.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Gwen and Chris is property of J2. Period. Gwen, if she wants to be with her child, she will fall in line. She is now a prisoner.
Right.
And
then basically, like, he kind of punks out Thomas in front of everybody, And he's just like, he's like, do you want to keep your job? He's
right.
Like, I'm not. He's like, now what? I'm head of security now, and he's like, if you want to keep your job and you want to see these people anymore, he's like, you work for me, And then basically takes all of the controls away from Tim, and then Slade's basically like Palpatine. He's running the whole compound by himself, because like, no ins or outs without my approval or without me knowing about it. So any kind of plan they had to help Gwen escape or help her, leave the compound and come back, that's all done with. That will never happen again because of what happened with NAC and the motorcycle chase from the diner.
Right. Now,
and I think he's probably still salty about her wrecking his car into a giant reinforced gate.
Because you get the feeling it's not an inexpensive car. Like, dude is not driving a beater at all.
No, it's like some crazy
Lamborghini Porsche or something.
Yeah,
he seems like a Porsche. He seems like a Porsche kind of guy.
Yeah, definitely.
He's just effeminate enough. Small PP. He's got the big sads for the small PP. It's Sean Murphy. So, kind of walking away a little bit from Punk Rock Jesus and talking about the work. Yeah, I know. I'm getting there. I'm going to get ahead of ourselves and just give a little.
Stop it. You stop it right now.
Just look, listen to me. Listen to me. Listen to me. Sean Murphy, he proves that there's nothing he can't bring to life.
Right.
And, whether it is a futuristic city, which you might hear about in some later episode, or it is John Constantine in the streets of England, Sean Murphy has this way of taking these like severe, because all of his art is so severe, it's so like angular, and just
It's very abrasive.
it is
It's like
it's in your
there's a
face.
lot of like hard angles, and like lots of hashing, lots of
Right.
dark shading and things like that.
Right. And I think that's why this book works so well in black and white, because of the fact that he is not, he's not tied to coloration after the fact. So you really do get that sketch vibe from it, like that sketch feel from it,
Right.
which is when I think he's at his best. But he does, you see pain in the face of Gwen when they get to the house. You see pain in Thomas's face when he, realizes now that he is hogtied if he's going to help save these people that he's come to care
Right.
for. Like, I don't know I don't know that there's anybody who is quite like Sean Murphy, in that regard. Like, just he takes this, it should almost be grotesque in its nature because it's so aggressive and abrasive, but it's so beautiful instead. There's so many wonderful things about it. So why don't you, Daniel San, walk us through the to the midway point, which will also be kind of our jumping off point for tonight.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So the next issues basically, or the next issue, it starts off, after the whole escape incident, and basically everybody getting their wings clipped with J2, like the security team, etc. Right?
I see what you did there.
Yeah. Hey, I can be clever too. Yeah. So basically, it breaks down how Chris is being taught, and how the world is I'm sorry, how the world on the compound goes for him. They don't allow him to go to school. He learns by himself through basically like almost like hologram AI kind of simulations, and it's all Bible study and Bible stories. That's all he learns. Um, he's not allowed to learn science. He's not allowed to learn anything of that nature, right? So he only is taught like basically Sunday school and creationism. That's it, and then obviously reading and writing, just because.
Yeah.
And then it just shows the next few years of Chris's life, from being a toddler, or from being an infant to a toddler, and him growing up with Dr. Epstein, Sarah's daughter.
Rebecca.
Yeah. She and Chris become inseparable because, it's the only other little person he has.
Right. Yeah.
And I don't know, it just all the panels with her and him and Cola the polar bear, and them learning like together, and it's funny, they have the little panels of them learning like Bible study stories and things of that nature.
Oh my gosh! And when she's like, "Are you gonna flood the earth again?"
Yeah. He's so good. But yeah, it all comes to a head essentially when basically Sarah's like, "You're not teaching my daughter that stuff, okay?" She's like, she will learn science, she will learn, real world applicable things.
Yes.
And basically Chris is left alone as a toddler, learning all of these things. And
Right.
then basically it leads to the scene where they're all swimming in the pool together.
Hold on, hold on, wait, I got something for that. I think I have something for that.
Okay.
All right, hold on, I gotta try this out. Let's see if I can make this work.
Okay.
All right. Oh, nuts. I don't think it worked.
It didn't work.
It didn't work, as far as I know.
No.
Are we
Yep,
sure?
now it's just like,
Nope.
I'm watching it. It just, that's all messed up now.
Is it? You're lying to
Yeah.
me.
I'm looking at the live right now. It's all messed up.
Oh,
People
no.
comment. Tell them it's all
Oh,
messed
no,
up.
it is all messed up. Oh, no, I broke it. What about now?
It's still messed up.
Dang it. All right. Did I fix it?
Nope, it's just the top of my head.
Well, you know what? It's a beautiful top of a head.
There you go. All right. Thank you.
All right, yeah. All right, fine. Next time. Next time. Justin
Yeah.
Sloan says you guys make this book sound insane. I feel like it would make a great HBO miniseries, high concept, wacky religious premise with a focus on a character. It gives me the Leftovers vibes. I've never.
Very much so. Very much so. I 100% agree with that. Did you ever watch The Leftovers?
I did not.
Highly recommend.
Okay, I'll add it to the list. Anyway, I had the panel. I had the panel of what happened after the pool incident.
So basically, what happens is the next miracle happens.
Yeah.
Where basically Rebecca asks Chris if he's gonna flood the world again, and kill everybody, and he goes, or no, she asked him if they could make an ark because he's gonna have to, his dad's gonna flood the earth again essentially.
Yeah.
And he goes, I don't have to flood. He's like, we don't need to make an ark because I can just walk on water.
Yeah.
And this little boy walks out into the pool and just sinks like a rock to the bottom.
Yep.
And almost drowns. And then basically, that's when Gwen has had enough because he has watched all of this Bible study and all these, creationism and faith studies, right, about who he is supposed to become. It has made him almost delusional, right?
Yep.
So then she goes to.
I found it. I got it. I got it to work. I got it to work.
Yes, there it is.
Yep.
Yeah. She's like, "Where's Slate?"
Yep.
Busts into his office, and she's like, "It's like he's gonna go to public school. He is gonna have friends. Okay." He's like he cannot continue to live this isolated life, learning only what you want him to learn. He needs to learn the ways of the world. And she's like, let him go, let him have a normal life. Let him go, let him have a normal life. And finally, she says, let's give them what they came for. And she kicks the door open where all the cameramen are, pulls out a letter opener, and literally stabs herself through her hand and pulls it down. And basically,
It's rough. It is so rough, and it's so visceral.
It's probably one of the worst scenes. It still makes me cringe every time I watch. Like I reread it today just so I'd be pretty refreshed on it, for the podcast. But
right,
it still hurts me, dude. But yeah, basically, she was like, "I promise I'll behave if you promise to stop interfering with Chris's life. No more miracles. Just let him go to a regular school with real children."
But the first thing she says to him before she even says that is, think about the ratings.
Oh, yeah. She does feed into his ego. I forgot that part.
Yep.
But yeah, as she passes out from blood loss, he's just like, deal. All right.
Yep.
And basically, this is where the next arc kind of jumps off.
Right. Dude, it's so, like... And again, like I said at the top, nothing... At no point in this book do you know what's going to happen next. Like, there's there is no telegraphing. There is no moment where you're like, oh, I see how this is going to end. Dude, I've probably read this thing cover to cover a dozen times minimum. And I still get, like, twisted up inside and shocked by what happens because it always feels justified. Like, nothing ever happens that doesn't feel like it wasn't leading to that to begin with. But because it's just so off the rails sometimes, you just it blows my mind.
Everything that happens in the story needs to happen. There's no filler.
Yeah. Exactly.
It's like, no, what was it? Sum 41. All killer, no filler.
Mhm.
Like, straight up. Every panel of the story is important. Okay?
Correct. And it's...
And all the shit that happens in between the panels. I know that sounds real, stupid, but
No,
it's
but
true,
it's
man.
true,
Everything
yeah.
that happens in between the panels, you understand what is happening throughout this book, man.
Right.
And he does such a great job of telling the story through his, not only through his words, but through his art, man. I cannot recommend this book enough. God damn it, it's so good.
It is the epitome of like the perfect 10 out of 10. There is nothing like I can't find, the only flaw I can find in this book is that it's only 6 issues. That's it.
I prefer that though.
But no, I agree.
That's the same reason, people love like Breaking Bad and,
Sure.
The Wire, because it's definitely got a definitive beginning, middle, and end.
Yep.
Okay, they don't try to drag it on for 12,
absolutely.
13, 14 seasons. They literally just, boom, I got this story to tell, let's go.
Yeah, and you're right in that regard. But again, I wouldn't have minded an 8-book series. I think it would have been fine as an 8-book series. I'm not asking for like an ongoing, but...
Yeah, no, we could have elaborated a little more on Thomas's training,
sure,
a little more, and maybe some of the in-between times of Chris's growing up in school. Those would have been fun little one-off issues.
It would have been, but none of that feels necessary, and everything, like you never feel like you are getting just a part of the story.
Right.
And that says a lot, because again, 6 issues is not a lot, and they are giant size, but they're 34, each issue is 34 pages or so, which is only about 10 more than your average book. So you are getting a little extra, but it doesn't ever feel rushed. It doesn't ever feel, you get from point A to point B at the end, and you know exactly how you got there, and you're not confused about anything, except for maybe a couple things that just leave you a little wondering. Mm-hmm. Not even in a bad way. It's not like
that's just good storytelling.
Yeah,
that
exactly.
Just lets you fill in the blanks.
Yes, exactly.
It's like the briefcase in Pulp Fiction. What's in it?
It's Marcellus Wallace's soul. It's Marcellus Wallace's soul, or it's the diamonds from Reservoir Dogs, depending on who you ask.
That's what I think. I think it's the diamonds.
Yeah, I think so too. The only thing that is confusing is Harvey Keitel being the wolf. Is he actually Mr. Brown or is he the wolf? Mr. White, yeah. Oh man. Mr. Pink.
Oh, yeah,
Mr. Pink.
They're about to flame you in these comments.
Sorry.
Our 7 viewers are gonna flame the shit out of you.
That's fine. They can kiss my ass.
No, they can't. We love them.
I'm just kidding.
Mr. Brown.
Mr. Brown. Yeah, Mr. Brown was Mr. Brown was Quentin Tarantino.
Yep. Remember he gets shot in the head?
Yep,
like,
he does.
I can't see.
That's right.
I'm blind.
Yep.
So you're not blind, you got blood in your eyes.
That's right. Yep. Mr. Pink, though, Steve Buscemi.
The best.
The best, yes.
Oh, it's a professional? Yeah.
Yep.
All right, see, we're rambling. All right. I think this is a good place to stop since we are right in between 3 and 4.
We are.
Okay.
And, if any of you have the means to go out to your local comic book store tomorrow and just see if they have a copy sitting on a shelf, it is 100%.
You can get one of these.
Yes.
Which is the deluxe edition hardcover.
Yep. My brother Austin has my copy.
You can get the trade paperback.
Yeah.
And a fun thing about this trade paperback, I got this at a used bookstore in Portland, Maine, which is where Sean Murphy lives currently. And apparently he goes around to bookstores and things and just signs random stuff. So I have a signed and remarked copy of Punk Rock Jesus that I got for $5 because he was walking through the used bookstore and saw his work.
That is probably the coolest thing you own, in my opinion. And you own some pretty cool shit.
I own too much shit.
Yeah. Spider Noir says...
Triple X says retcon Doomsday.
Retcon
Which
Doomsday
one?
Clock. Oh man, Doomsday Clock. I never read Doomsday Clock. That was the weird Watchmen crossover event with DC, right?
Doomsday Clock. I'm sorry. That stupid little emoji things over the chat for me.
Yeah, I don't like that little heart thing. I mean, I don't know.
Retcon Doomsday Clock.
I never read Doomsday Clock, so
and they just bring in the Watchmen universe into the main DCU, which is stupid.
Right on. Yeah,
I thought it was fine where it was. It's still cool though.
Yeah.
I mean, it's Gary Frank and Jeff Johns.
Oh,
It's
right
not a
on.
bad story
No,
by any
sure.
means, but it didn't need to be made. That's just my personal opinion on
Fair
it.
enough. I mean, I think that
It's good comics.
right
I
on.
mean,
Cool,
it's good.
cool. I'll
It's
have to give
fun,
it a
good
read.
comics.
Yeah.
You know,
I know
but
that was either starting or ongoing back in 2019 or so. Whenever I kind of got back into comics, so I didn't get around to reading it. I think it may have already been ongoing at that point, and that's why I didn't get into it because I couldn't find issue 1 at my local shop. So I just said hell with it. I'm gonna read Last Night on
right.
Earth instead. Oh man, I can't wait for the Scott Snyder episode.
Oh, dude, that's gonna be a good one.
Uh,
Scott Snyder's gonna
Yep.
be good.
so
Remender, we're gonna do that one.
oh yeah, Rick Remender. I know you had somebody you want on for that for sure.
Yes, Anthony. If he is available, I would love to get him on.
Right
But
on.
I know that he has a weird work schedule, so
Okay, we'll find a way to make that happen for sure. We're kind of the masters of our own fate with this. So I want to thank everybody for kind of listening to us break down the first half of Punk Rock Jesus for you. A lot of the episodes that we're going to be doing spotlighting particular creators and stuff will be more, more in-depth discussion and whatnot. But with this book in particular, it's just so important to us. It's so important to our friendship that it's really
Yeah.
cool getting to, like, just talk about it and explain it to all of you guys, especially if you haven't read it yet. Maybe,
I hope it wasn't a big convoluted mess. I feel
Yeah.
like sometimes we'll go off on tangents, but I feel like
Yeah.
you get the gist of at least where we're going with this or where
Right.
the story
Yeah.
could be heading. I don't know. I enjoy talking comics.
Yeah,
No
I
matter
know.
what, you know.
I know, and it's hard not
but
to
the
want to
big-
just tell everybody
Yeah.
everything that happens, man. It's so good.
The big thing I want to do with this series or with this show, man, is like it's not. I don't want to just be your typical comic book podcast where we're reviewing what comes out on Wednesday or whatever. I really want to go deeper than that and go deeper with creators and with books and why they're special and
Right.
why the stories mean something to us.
Yes.
And it means a lot that, the people that did tune in, gave us that full, hour and a half?
Yeah,
Like,
give or take,
that's
yeah.
amazing. You could have done anything with that hour and
Yeah.
a half, and you spend it with us.
Yeah,
and that
it's-
means the fucking world to me.
Oh, absolutely,
So
dude. It's
I appreciate every single one of you guys. So thank you so
right
much.
here, yes. And the same sentiment comes from me, man. It is a Friday night. You could be off doing anything in the world. You could be shooting pool. You could be going out to dinner. You could be watching whatever is good on TV right now. But instead, you decided to spend an hour and a half while me and my friend just sat here and talked about a funny book.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, and we will keep bringing you funny book content.
Oh,
Even if
absolutely.
it's just the 8 to 10 of you that pop in and out. I'm here for it. Okay?
Yes.
I will talk comics till I'm blue in the face.
Yep, we will keep showing up week in, and then a week off, and then weekend, and but
Yeah, and we want to get to a point where we can actually get a good schedule down and
Yeah.
start pumping them out weekly,
Yep.
and maybe do, some shorter episodes, some longer episodes, just
Yeah.
depending on what we're talking about.
Right.
Yeah, and same thing.
and we want to.
Plug that Gmail, dude.
Oh, absolutely. So that is a big thank you, Daniel, for mentioning that. Party people, true believers, we do have a Gmail account. It is in the description of the video. Also, if you haven't already, please smash that like button.
Yeah, hit
yeah,
the subscribe,
hit
dude.
the-
Hit
yeah.
the little bells for notifications.
Yeah, please smash the like button. If you hit that like button, it'll help YouTube. The YouTube algorithm hates new creators. As a creator who I've been, been in the Pokemon world, I'm actually 15 subs away from 500 subscribers at Poketrev on YouTube. But YouTube hates small creators,
Look at
and
that.
if you want to help us expand, liking it and subscribing to it, commenting on it, even just kind of helps the algorithm say, oh, people engage with this. But if you'd like to engage with us and be a part of what we're going to be doing as like our mailbag, we do have a Gmail account. It is boywonderspodcast@gmail.com. No, is it boywonderspod or podcast at gmail.com?
I believe it's pod.
I think you're right.
This is so professional, Trevor. God damn it.
Look, Daniel, all right.
You had one job. I literally kicked it to you so we wouldn't have this problem.
Look, I have 2 jobs. It's boywonderspod@gmail.com.
God damn it. Yeah. And it's not in the description of the video like you said it
No,
was.
it's not. It's
We need
on
to
our.
fix these
It's on the
things.
description of our channel.
I'll fight you in this entire universe. I'm
Bitch,
just kidding.
I'm running to
I
Earth.
love you.
I'm going to Earth 626 now. I love you too.
Welcome
buddy.
to Earth. I'm gonna punch you in the face.
Yep. I love you too, man. So, guys, yeah, if you'd like to send us an email, we'll read your mail live on the air and answer your questions. If there are any topics you'd like us to discuss, or if there are any comics you'd like us to read, please shoot us an email, boywonderspod@gmail.com. We will be happy to read your mail. So I have been Trevor.
Good, bad, or
Yeah.
ugly.
Oh, yeah.
We will read it.
Oh,
okay?
yeah. So, and we will call out by name who sent it.
Nah, I don't think we'll do that, but
Oh, I will.
we'll definitely read the ugly ones.
Yeah.
I want to.
Anyway, I thank you once again for being here with us tonight. I have been Trevor.
And I'm Dan.
And we are
And we are
the Boy Wonders.
That's us, baby. And we'll see you guys tomorrow. Same Boy Wonder channel.
Same Boy Wonder time.
Boom, boom, boom. 8 p.m. Eastern Standard.
See you
Let's
guys.
do it.
All right.
Good night, y'all.
Peace. All right.